Okay, made it to give her some bite. Marina. Got the Grady in the water here. Right before sunset. Gonna go find our sled. Well, good morning and welcome back to the Florida Boat Guy. It is Tortugas Day. I am in Key West. Just woke up about 7:30 this morning. Beautiful day. We've got a little bit more wind than the last time we did this trip, but I'm not in a hurry. Plan on going over to Loggerhead Key today and then back to Garden Key to spend the night in the harbor there, and then coming back to Key West the next day. So getting this boat packed up and excited to get started. It looks just beautiful out there. And quick note, I've had a couple people ask for a follow-up on the Zero Breeze. We're going about 2 years in, still working great. I've actually had it on low mode tonight, or last night, because it was really not that hot outside. Keeps the humidity out, and you see it's coming out at 57 degrees. This kept this cabin about 70-ish, really comfortable, and that was on low mode. So working great, and still really like the Zero Breeze. I'm about 6 miles out of Key West, and the waves are completely different than what they predicted, which doesn't happen often. I actually was listening to the radio and heard the National Weather Service come on and ask for boater reports, because there have been some reports of high waves out here that were not forecast. And that's the nature of the ocean down here, especially in Key West, where we've got currents that are crisscrossing. And I gotta pay attention here. So instead of 1 and 2 footers, we've got 3, 4, maybe even 5 footers coming in at a really bad direction off my stern and the beam here on the side, and that's making it really difficult to drive. And so I can do this for a little while, but definitely not 70 miles of it. It's a lot of work trying to keep the boat from diving into the next wave, surfing, constantly working the throttle. So I'm going to take it all the way down to Boca Grande, which is the end of these chain islands, and see what the waves are looking like there. If it's still like this, what I'll do is have to turn around and I'll take the Lakes Passage to come back into Key West. So kind of a bummer, but is what it is. Safety first. So just right up against my comfort level, the way these waves are looking. All right, starting to get a little bit better out here. Able to stay comfortably on plane. It's not smooth, but nothing we can't handle. Okay, good news so far. I did calm down quite a bit. I got the boat right in its groove where I was able to take these waves at 20 miles an hour very comfortably. I'm right in front of Old Woman Key. I've got Boca Grande here right in the distance. I'm going to pull off there, anchor for just a little bit, and it's kind of the last spot where we've got cell coverage. Just want to recheck the forecast. I did talk to the Weather Service on Channel 12 here. They were asking for reports, and they are forecasting this to calm down quite a bit here in the next hour and a half or so. So I'm just gonna take it slow and try and get over to Boca Grande, anchor there, check the boat out a little bit, see how we're looking, and make a decision from there if we're gonna keep going or not. Okay, so I pulled in the Boca Grande channel and anchored in the lee of Boca Grande Key here for just a little bit. It was getting way too rough. Got better there for a bit, and then in between here and the Marquesas, the waves beat me up too much for comfort, and they're on my stern behind me. The concern I have at the moment is if I do have to turn around and then I'm beating straight into those waves. So I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit, see if it calms down. If not, I'll have to head back to Key West. And it is beautiful out here, still worth the trip. I love this island right here. It's one of my favorite places to come. It's got a beautiful little beach. The water is incredible. So I'm gonna be real sad if I can't make it all the way out. I would like to at least make it to the Marquesas if it calms down this afternoon. So gonna play it by ear, listening to the weather reports here. They are saying they are getting some rogue waves out there, 4 and 5 feet, even though we were forecast 2 to 3 down to 1 to 2 this afternoon, but quite a bit higher. And what I'm hearing is that the high pressure system in the Atlantic did not make it quite as far south as they were originally forecasting. So that happens, and that's okay. Just trying to be safe here and hang out in this calm area for a little while and see what happens from here. Okay, still at Boca Grande here. Just got my life jacket back on. Anchored for about an hour and a half. The winds have died down from about 17 knots down to about 10. So gonna get back out of this channel. I'm not ready to admit defeat yet. Gonna see what it's like out there and go a couple more miles, hopefully to the Marquesas, and then from there will be the jumping off point to see if we can make this trip happen or not. So getting the boat started now, and we'll check in once we get back out in open water. Florida boat guy checking in. We have the beautiful Marquesas Keys behind me, and I've stopped at this island chain before. It's a beautiful spot. We've got some boats anchored behind me. The seas have calmed down a little bit. Broadside to them right now, so that's why we're kind of rocking. Still pretty darn rough. I'm mildly concerned at the moment about fuel usage, because fighting these waves up and down uses a lot more fuel than just cruising. Now I do have plenty of reserve, but I don't want to be coming back to Key West on fumes. So I might wait it out a little bit longer here and kind of see what it looks like. Say it's not awful out here. The boat's handling it just fine, but it's a lot of work to go another 50 miles in these conditions. So, and that's where I'm at. I've gone, well, okay, I've gone 30 miles, so I'll be another 40. So not even halfway there, and this is pretty taxing to drive in these conditions. So giving it a run for my money, but still doing good. Boat's running great, so figure out what we're gonna do next year. Woo! All right, autopilot's on. It's time for me to get my lunch out. We're going nice and slow right now, about 8-9 miles an hour. So I'm gonna make my sandwich here, enjoy a nice slow ride. Just tell me if I keep this pace up, I'll be there about 4:45, 5 o'clock tonight. Obviously I'll speed it up here at some point. Yeah, nice rolling ride. So I don't know if you can hear me over the drone of the motor, but I'm committed now. I've got 28 more miles to go until the entrance of the Tortugas Park. So, still pretty rough out here, but nothing this boat can't handle. I've got to brag on this as it hits these waves. And it is just killing it. Slicing through it like it's nothing. So that gives me a lot of confidence being out here, even in a small 20-foot boat. And so now that these waves have died down just a little bit, I'm able to engage the autopilot, enjoy the ride. So I'm going 22 to 25 miles an hour, which is kind of the sweet spot on this boat. Burning around, what's about 3 miles to the gallon. So should be to the park in about an hour or so. So this has turned out really, really well. The water is absolutely fantastic today. Just beautiful. Check in as we get closer. Okay, 7 miles to go until the entrance to the channel into the park. I've got the entrance of the actual park boundary about 2 miles ahead of me. But I believe I'm crossing the Gulf Stream, and I didn't take that into account when they said 2 to 3 foot waves starting down to 1 to 2, but when you cross the Gulf Stream, everything doubles. So everything's getting a little bit wet right now, but we're awfully close to the park. And I remember this from last time. The ride was pretty good until this last little section, and we've got some really confused waves. And I'm pretty sure it's the Gulf Stream because the wind's coming from behind me, but I've got waves going this way, north. So getting close here, and it's been a bouncy ride. And I can see the backs of some of these waves. The motor's actually having a hard time keeping us on plane. So anyway, almost there. Check in once we're inside the park. Garden Key right in front of us here. Okay, I am about 2 miles from Garden Key, which is where the port is, and that was one heck of a crossing. Definitely not 2 to 3 footers. Those were 4 to 6 foot waves towards the end there. But made it just fine, and I want to go over to Loggerhead Key. I don't know if I'm going to do it today. I've got to check all my fuel because that took a lot more fuel to get here than I was expecting. So before I make the run over there, I need to go check in with the park office. Got to get my boat permit to be in the park. So I'm going to go find a nice anchorage over there, maybe get the paddleboard out, get over to the port, and then we'll see how the times look at if I have time to go over to Loggerhead today or tomorrow. So I'm going to go find my way into the harbor right now. Never been on the other side, so I've got to pay attention to where I'm going. So I've got the Yankee Credenberry right off about here, leaving the port for the day. So that's the good news. All of the tourists are on that boat. There's a seaplane left, but this is where the vast majority of tourists, this boat drops off 200-300 people. So this is great that they, as you can see, they're passing right in front of me here, taking off. So I should have the port relatively to myself. Good time of day to come.